We'll start on our backs, building the intensity of our practice here today. So laying down as if you were going to start bridge pose. Just lay down on your back with the knees bent. Maybe you decide to knock your knees up against each other, taking the feet a little wider, resting your hands softly on your belly or by your side as you wish. Let those eyes softly close. Let those lips softly touch each other. Start drinking in a nice couple of fluid breaths just to kind of quiet the mind, quiet the body. Sync up that we're all here, our whole being, not just our physical self, but our emotional and mental self. Couple of nice, deep, fluid breaths. Perhaps get a little ujjayi pranayama where you're dragging the air in across your throat, pulling it back, and then on the exhale, pressing that breath forward. So instead of up and down in your sinuses, think of a forward-backward motion, and maybe get a little hum in there as that air scrapes across your throat. We call that ujjayi pranayama. It gives us a vibration. It gives a physical and audible sense to our breathing, our aliveness. So let's take 3 more breaths here. And then wherever you have your hands, just loosely open them out to a T. You can take your palms up or down as you wish. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4. It is a figure 4. We're not going to thread the needle though. Do flex your right ankle and point that right knee out to the side. And then tip to your left all the way with that ankle still on your knee, that maybe your right foot can tap the ground or even plant it for just a second. And then come onto your back, keeping the shape of your legs, and then tap your right knee to the floor on the other side, to the right. And then just get that motion going side to side. This is something I love to do in the morning. It just gets very light into the hips, but in a nice way. We're introducing a little movement into our lower back, a little space, and kind of breaking through the crust. Just a couple of back and forths, and then when you have enough of it, hang out so that you're on the right-hand side all the way. So if you're going to hold that right knee still on your right ankle on your left knee, you might have to adjust your left leg. So in order to get my left knee to point down, I'm going to bend my left foot, my back knee a little bit more so my foot goes closer to my butt. Lift the shoulders so you're really anchored, particularly in that left shoulder blade. And then perhaps you're looking across your left shoulder, across to the left, getting the stretch of the neck. And if having your right foot on your left outer knee doesn't feel good in any way, take it off. Just make it a twist where your legs are separated and your knees are pointing to the right. Take a couple of deep breaths there. Using that exhale to really find length in the side of your left waist, particularly if you have that foot on your left knee, you can use that exhale to kind of press down just a little tiny bit. Finish one more exhale, and then keeping a figure 4 if you have it, return to your back. If you don't, put that right ankle right back on top of that knee, and then now we will thread the needle where you reach between your legs with that right hand, catch a hold of your left thigh or your left shin as you wish, and then just opening out that right knee as you pull both of your legs towards you, keeping your back flat. Let's draw that chin in towards your neck if you kind of arched into your spine in order to collect those legs up. And just holding there, maybe a little bit of movement if you want to explore how your right hip can feel the stretch. And as you're into it a little bit longer, you might find you can change your hand grip and reach for that left shin, which is going to pull your legs a little closer towards you. Take one fluid breath. Let go of your left leg with the knee bent, put that foot on the ground, and raise your right one towards the sky, reaching behind the thigh wherever it's available for you to reach without lifting your shoulders or your hips. Let's grab some circles of that right ankle, some flexing and pointing, just moving through the metatarsals, through the fascia, get all those crackly, crunchy bits out. And then holding the position of your foot, whether you're flexing or pointing or pushing through that ball a little bit. If you'd like to, you can extend your left leg forward, so we're splitting the legs apart. If you choose to split the legs, really make that left leg active, so as you pull your right one, your lower back has an anchor to hold on to. If you release that left leg and you pull your right leg a little too much, you can get into the low back there and injure yourself. So let's just keep the legs active as a support system And you'll find that maybe that pushing of your left leg actually can have you pull your right one a little closer towards you without manipulating the spine in any way. Take one more breath. We're going to fold that right knee down, pull it high up into your right shoulder so you get a good stretch, and then a spinal twist, releasing your right arm beside you as you pull your left knee across your mat, your right knee across your mat to the left. And perhaps you're going to, again, realign those shoulders so you can really anchor the right one down. And this is a good place to put a block. If you're tight in your lower back or anywhere at all in this pose, this should feel like a nice stretch, not like you're fighting your own body. So blocking up, putting a block under your knee on that leg, the right one on the left side, so that you can rest it there and let that low back just release in the pose. This is not a super active, push myself in a stretch pose whatsoever. It's more like letting the body open. Take one more breath there. And then we're going to return to our backs. Give that right knee a nice good squeeze again. And then placing your right foot down on the mat, you can take your left ankle, cross it on your right knee. Open up those arms loosely again. We're going to drop over to the right side, letting your left foot tap the ground, maybe come completely down, and then just back over to the left side where your knee touches and you're letting your right hip turn, and just go back and forth. Don't worry about making this pretty. It's just about moving in this shape and letting whatever's going to snap, crackle, pop, or release happen. When you're good to go, we're going to end up on that left side. Do adjust your legs. So just making that right leg change a little bit so if you're still keeping that left ankle on the knee, you are comfortable. Hips are turning as far to the left as you can. Lift the backs of your shoulders up so that right shoulder can anchor, and maybe you're going to look across that right hand, just holding there, breathing. And using that exhale to kind of lengthen that whole right waist. You can either use your left foot to pull down that knee just a tiny bit and anchor through the shoulder, or just letting it happen organically without any effort on your part. One more nice breath there. We'll return to our backs. If your left ankle came off, put it back on your right knee and go to a figure four. Thread through the needle, grabbing your shin or your thigh of your right leg. Let's keep that left ankle flexed. Pull the legs towards you. Relax your shoulder blades on the mat. Relax your neck. Maybe draw your chin in towards your neck. Perhaps a little bit of movement, exploring that left hip and the stretch you have. And then notice if you're gripping, teeth, jaw, it's so easy to do. We do it all day long. Just being aware of where we're secretly stashing some of that tension and just continually working to soften there. It's not useful. One last breath there. We're letting go so that that right foot could come to the mat, keeping the knee bent and bringing that left leg up towards the sky. Just focusing on extending the left leg for starters. Grab it where it's comfortable to hold without reaching with the shoulders or arcing in the back. We're going to roll this ankle, flex it, spread the toes. Going to stuff these little feet in some shoes later, so let's liberate that. Give them some freedom and space here now. And then if you're interested, you're taking that right leg, extending it forward, flexing it, so working to get that back of your right thigh down. If that right knee is a lot bent, it just means your lower back is a little tight in this pose, and I would just keep the right knee bent so you can work a hamstring stretch on the left side. But if you are extending it, remember, we're flexing or pushing through both of those legs. So both legs are, the one you're holding, you're pulling, the one that's extended, you're pressing. So the opposing actions is going to keep that anchored pelvis on the mat, and then you can safely explore your stretch. Take another breath. Folding down the left knee, press that knee up into your shoulder, and then dropping that knee across your mat towards the right, releasing that left arm behind you. Maybe you're going to take your gaze up across towards your left shoulder so that you can find a little stretch for the neck, and maybe a block underneath your left knee if this is a tighter side for you. Taking one more nice fluid breath. And then we're coming onto our backs. Once you get there, you can hug both of your knees into your chest a little bit. Maybe even bring your head up into those knees, getting into that lower back and just tightening up into a nice little ball. And then we're going to head into a little core sequence now, placing your feet down on the mat, just hip distance, not so wide because it's a bridge pose coming up next. Palms out by your sides. And when you're ready, curl your tailbone up underneath you, get up on top of your feet, and then get up on top of your shoulders by stuffing them underneath you a little bit. We're going to keep the arms straight, extending out from the shoulders, widen your fingers and press into every fingerprint. Explore where those heels need to be. If they're too far forward, you're going to feel strain in your hamstrings and maybe even a Charlie horse. If they're too close to your bum, then you're going to might feel strain in your knee. We really want a vertical shin, knee over ankle. Without clenching the glutes, lift your hips a little bit higher and then articulate the spine as you curl it down. We're going to do several of these, so don't worry if you feel like you want more. Open the arms wide. Do have the arms strong with the palms facing down. Raise your knees over the hips, flex your feet, so a 90-degree angle, and maybe push your feet a little forward so the core is engaged. We're going to tip to the right but not land. This is that lovely, I love this isometric contraction where the weight of your legs is holding in space, so the abdominals, the obliques have to hold them in place. So it's a stretch and some strengthening. And then inhale through center, little windshield wiper to the left side, hovering. And we'll do this a few more times too, so if this is feeling good, you get more chances at that. And then come on back through center. You can bring your hands directly beside you, keep your legs in the air, or sit on the backs of your hands as you raise your legs straight up to the sky. Strong legs, we're going to slowly lower the legs down towards the front of the mat. Go slow. If you feel strength, sit on the backs of those hands or bend your knees a little bit. Knees in towards your chest. Stay flat on your back. Don't lift your head. Press your feet forward now. So this is a really strong pose for the abs. So really go slow so you don't strain that lower back. Raise your legs to the sky, and we're going to repeat it. One more. Legs straight, go down. Bend them in towards your chest. Go slow so you're really making this a strengthener, not any momentum. Straighten those legs forward, push out like a piston, and then straight up to the sky. Here we go. Second bridge pose, feet on the ground. This time, press your hips up off the ground and interlace your hands behind your back if that's available. Walk the shoulders towards each other and a little bit down towards your feet. Notice which thumb is closest to your body so you can do the other one on the next round. Lift into those hips, but not clench the toes, the jaw, the shoulders. Even the fingers, although they're interlaced, you don't have to give a death grip. Just press the arm bones down. And then we're going to release the hands so you can roll down, immediately taking those hands out to the side like a T, palms down. Raise your feet, flex your ankles, push those feet a little forward. Go left, hanging out to the left, hovering, hovering, hovering. I often get a crack in this one. And then coming through center, really slowly moving so we're feeling the origination of this coming right from the core. Back through center, legs to the sky. Maybe sit on the backs of your hands or extend those legs. We're going to go in reverse. Bend your knees, push those legs out forward, straighten up your legs towards the top. Do it again, bend your knees, reach those legs out forward, straighten both legs up, and then now you can keep your legs straight and lower them down. You can either bend them in and bring them to the sky or keep them straight and go straight back up. Nice and slow. Are you breathing? And just one more. And we're going to repeat this with a couple of variations. So once you finish bringing those legs up, let's go right into it, feet down, come on into bridge pose, curl up off onto those shoulders, nestle them underneath you, and then get that other thumb closer towards your body. So now make sure we're anchoring in the big toe mounds here. We're going to add on without clenching your glutes. Think where your knees are in space and don't change that. Just take your right leg and reach it forward. So knees are lining up almost as if you were holding a block. Imagine you are, as a matter of fact. And that right leg is straight and strong. This is intense. Use your arms to press down. Have a breath. Place that right foot back where you took it from, and then try the left one. And I like this pose because I can really feel the asymmetry and the strength of my hamstrings or my quads. So you can really see what leg is a little weaker link or what one's stronger. Beautiful. Put it on down. Bump those hips up one last time. Carefully release your hands so you can roll down. Immediately picking up those feet, 90-degree angle, arms out wide, palms down. Flex your ankles, head to the right, hovering. If you want more, you can straighten out those legs as they hit that side. But let's rebend them as you come through center and switching to the left. Straightening them out if there's space for you. Keeping them bent if that's plenty. Come on back. Raising the legs to the sky. Hands by your sides or underneath your hips. Bring both of your legs down. Hold them there. So try to soften your shoulders. Raise your right leg up towards the sky. Bring it down, so both legs pointing forward. Bring your left leg to the sky. Bring it down. Doing that again. Right one only. Then down. Then left one only. Then down. Then both of them straight up. Nice and slow. That's the hard part. Awesome. We got one more set, everybody. Feet on the ground. Set up for a bridge. Get yourself up on there. You can keep your palms flat or any other way you want to. Pressing into those palms. Find the anchor of your feet, particularly that big toe mound. Often we roll out to the blades here. Really keep those thigh bones rolling in. Press into your hands, just like last time, but we'll start left leg. Raise it forward so that you're hovering, knees lining up. And now bring that left leg straight to the ceiling. So now that you're in this three-legged bridge, come up and down on the ball of your right foot. Be careful, you can get a little Charlie horse when you do that. So just 3 heel lifts. Right heel up and down 3 times. Hold it up, lift a little higher. Keep your hips in the air, put that foot down. Make sure both heels are flat. Start with the right leg, extending it forward, hold. Then right leg to the sky, lift. Use your hands here a little bit to press in as you go up and down on the ball of your left foot. Slow, so you're really rolling through the bones. Keep it up there, lift a little higher. Place both feet on the ground, flat feet, lift. Then both heels, lift. And then curl it all down. Here's our last little set of leg lifts. Raising the legs to the sky. Feet together. Slowly lower them down. Now start to take that right leg up like we did before, but we'll scissor now. Not side to side scissor, up and down scissor. Back and forth. So just alternating your legs, one and then the other. And then the way to make this a little more challenging would be to take your legs and scissor them closer to the ground. And if you want to make it easier, that's when you pick one up, lower the other one, then pick the other one up and lower that one. So take 4 more scissors. We'll go 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hug those knees into your chest. Give yourself a great big hug. Rock and roll a little bit. We'll have a seat coming upright. If it's available to cross your ankles, please do that. Sit with a nice tall spine. We'll get our fingers out beside us like a tent. Use that to perch your chest up nice and high. And starting with a twist. First, circle the arms up overhead on an inhale. Twist to your right side. So let your left hand come to your knee. Use that right hand behind your back to press into the ground. So pulling there with the left, pressing downward with the right, looking across that right shoulder. And then while you're there, if you feel like moving your neck right and left like you're shaking, no, that's kind of nice to do here. But think vertical spine with a rotation. On your next inhale, raise both of those arms to the sky, tall waistline, switching your twist to the opposite direction. Use your back hand to push down, use your front hand, your right one, to pull you over to the left. Take the head no if you'd like. Find a deep, full breath. And then we're going to come out of it by reaching both arms to the sky. Flex your feet so you anchoring your pelvis, your heels into the ground, and then try to extend over your shins. Think of this as core work. Just slowly, 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 slowly till your palms make it to the ground. Use the fingertips to push into the ground to lengthen your waist, literally pulling your chest forward. Then soften into the elbows. And you can change your arms now and just drop in, letting your head, chin come towards your chest, feeling your back body opening. Don't force anything. Just let yourself kind of plop in, especially if you're tight today. Just letting the head dangle. You can move your shoulders, your ribs, the back of your neck, any way you want. Take one full breath. And then we're going to walk the hands back, changing the crossing of our ankles. Once you're all settled, use your fingertips maybe to allow you to sit up a little taller out beside your hips there, and then losing the hands so you can reach those arms up. We'll take a side bend now, reaching to the right with your right palm, leaning in that direction. You can look up underneath your left arm. Maybe you prefer to look down. Maybe you want to look forward, straighten ahead, but extending that left arm. So a lot of times I see people just kind of hanging that left arm in space. Try fully extending it away from your left knee and just feel how that stretch feels a little more deep. And then come into the other side. So big sweeping gesture of the right arm. It's not like you're locking out the arm joints, but you're just extending that arm. You're pushing your right arm away from your right hip. You'll get a better stretch. And then both arms coming up. Flex your feet, anchor your pelvis. Again, diving forward but slowly, so you're completely in control and gaining strength along the way and awareness. Dropping your chin towards your chest, letting ourselves hang out of here a little bit. Taking a big, huge inhale and exhale, letting the back body awaken. And then come on back up. Get yourself onto your hands and your knees. Maybe a cow or cat or two. Just to kind of open up the body. Inhaling, lifting your chin, your chest, arching in your back, pressing into the heels of your hands. Exhale, rounding and pushing into the whole hand here. And then eventually finding a neutral spine, perhaps adjusting your hands, little rotation outward. We're gonna extend the right leg straight behind us, flex your toes, roll that hip in, pull in your belly. Take your knee out to your right tricep. You can pick your head and look in that direction, getting into a little side bend. And then lengthen your neck and look down as you straighten that leg back. And then knee to nose, rounding. See if you can connect your head or your knee on your face. Extending it straight back. Press into your hands and then reach the left arm forward. So bird dog pose, a lot of people call it. I call it spinal alignment pose. Just really feeling like the erector spinae muscles are balancing and you're using your core. Keep your hand where it is. Just flexing that right foot, put the ball of your foot down and lean back. So get into that calf a little bit. And then come back up so your right shoulder is over your right wrist and your right leg is still extended. Rotate your left arm to the ceiling, to the sky, and maybe look up, but watch that right knee. Don't collapse it. We're gonna thread your left arm under your right arm, coming to your shoulder, your head. If you can't reach the ground with your head, find a pillow or a prop. Use your right hand to press down to scooch that left arm a little bit farther, and then we can take the right arm to the sky and wrap it around behind your back. This kooky little stretch. It's a balance because you don't have all your limbs on the ground, but just try to find some space. Maybe roll that right shoulder open, maybe turn your head, but pushing into that right leg at the same time. You're gonna unravel the right arm to the sky to get out of it. Place the palm in next to your face. So when you push into your right hand, you'll straighten that elbow and pull the left arm out. Reaching up, maybe finding a little more space, leaning back. Hands on the ground, knees on the ground. Give yourself a little cow and cat, arching and lengthening. And then we're gonna take this on the other side. Be sure you have a good foundation of your arms, rotating those wrists, taking that left leg out, flexing the foot, maybe adjusting the palm so you're a little more in a tripod situation. Here we go, knee out to the left arm. You can look over your shoulder and look at it. Try to touch your arm on your knee, your leg on your arm. Stretch that leg straight back, lengthen your neck down. Bring the knee to your nose, rounding. And then pressing it back. Keep that left leg straight and strong in the air when you release your right arm, so it's not just hanging in space, but both arms reaching away, but not aggressively so, just extension. One more here, one more breath. Keep your arm, just place the ball of your left foot down on the mat. Push back into that calf and really get something happening here. And then you gotta come back up on top of your knee and your wrist, so left shoulder over left wrist. Open the right arm, look up if you can, and then thread the needle under on this one. Once your shoulder lands, you're gonna scooch that right arm a little farther out by picking up your head. And maybe this is a tighter side and you need to prop up. A lot of us feel a little more tight when we're turning to the left. I believe we got different organs going on in our body, different shapes and sizes. So a twist is gonna always feel a little different from right to left. And particularly this one, the spleen and the liver affected, I believe. And then maybe you're taking your left arm to the sky, wrapping it around, finding your right hip crease, Landing into that shoulder a little bit more, breathe. Releasing your left arm to the sky, placing the palm next to your face so you can push down to bring that right arm right back up towards the ceiling. And then we'll land into our hands. If you need another cow and a cat, before you head to down dog, go ahead and take care of that. Once we're in down dog, let's do some pedaling, do some movement. It's like you're reintroducing yourself to a brand new dog today. Hello, puppy. Are you a happy dog? Are you a grumpy dog? It can be anything and everything. Just let it be the dog it is. And organically, it's going to become friendly, I promise you. Little bend in your knees. Really push into your hands to extend your spine back. Right leg to the sky on an inhale. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Take the knee out to your left tricep as we did on the knee. Looking forward this time. Now try to touch your arm. Extend it back. Bring your knee to your nose, rounding your back. Try to touch that on your face. Extend it all the way up and back. And then lower your foot down to the mat. Take a nice full breath. Here goes the left one. Raise it up to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Knee out to the left tricep, look forward. Extend that leg straight back. Knee to your nose, rounding your back. Extend that leg straight back and up. And place your feet on the mat. Take a nice deep breath. It's a very basic flow coming up. Just get a little bit of fluidity in the breath and synchronize it up with your movements. So right leg to the sky when you're ready. Inhaling. This time we're going to bring the knee to the nose in order to step your foot to the top of the mat. You can push it with your hands if you need to. Get on top of your fingers if you need to. Use blocks to hold your body a little more upright so you're not struggling to find the ground. Put your back knee down. Reach your arms to the sky. Low crescent lunge. Sinking those hips. You want a nice vertical shin so the hips can come a little bit lower. That might mean moving your back leg back a little bit if you need to. If your back knee is too close up to your front, then you just really can't go down towards the ground any degree. So just scooching it back. Then finding the upper body to extend, look up, have a half split, putting your hands down, shifting over that front heel. Keep your gaze forward so the back stays flat. Just a nice big breath here. And we're going to step to the top of the mat. So re-lunge into that right leg and step your left foot forward. Halfway up, inhale. Fold to your legs, exhale. Circle those arms to the sky on an inhale. Maybe look up and arch back. Dive down, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Right leg stepping back. Adjust your hands, grab those blocks if you need them. Lengthen your spine, put your back knee down. Remember, it's way back there, so when you raise your arms up, you can let your hips get low. And if you feel like you have to lean forward because that back hip flexor is too tight, then move that knee up a little bit. But we do want to feel the hip flexor in this pose, not just the front legs work. Big breath in. Frame your foot, half splits. Keep looking forward when you do that. And then we're going to go to down dog. You can just slide your left leg back if you prefer, or re-lunge in and come into plank pose. So from down dog, you can shift forward if you're in that plank pose from your half split. Get there. We're going to lower to the belly. Come into cobra pose. Not going to teach that pose so much today, but just come into a back bend with your hands on the ground. Put your head down dog. Tuck the toes, push back. Keep it moving. Left leg to the sky. Knee to the nose, step your foot through. Same beginning, back knee down, low crescent lunge, inhale. This time take your right arm down and twist. Then lower that one and pick your right arm up and twist. And then hand down, look forward, raising that back knee, step forward. Halfway up on an inhale. Fold to your mat, exhale. Circling those arms to the sky on an inhale. And heading straight back down, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Left leg stepping back, exhale. When you're ready, knee down, arms sweeping to the sky, inhale. We'll lower the left arm down to twist. Then lower the right arm down and pick up the left one. Twist the other way. And then hand down, either down dog to plank, or from here, lift your back knee, step back plank. We're gonna lower on an exhale, cobra or upward facing dog, inhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, just a very brief little standing sequence. Taking one more inhale and exhale. Right leg to the sky on an inhale. Pull that knee in towards your nose. Coming into a high crescent lunge. So stepping your foot forward. So the difference between just putting your knee down and giving it a little bend as you look forward and bring your arms up. Try to get your head over your shoulders, over your hips. That might mean bending your back knee quite a bit and then working that hip flexor, which we've been stretching in that low crescent lunge to get that knee a little straighter. Just breathing here. Watch that the toes aren't gripping, the breath isn't gripping, the neck and shoulders aren't gripping. From here, it's warrior 2. Your back heel drops down and you turn your waistline, and then there's a little shuffle of your front foot to move more to the center so that when you are in warrior 2, your front heel lines up with your back arch. Make sure those arms are extended, stretching really long. We're only doing one of these today, so find a nice deep place where you can land and not get aggressive in the breath. Reverse it. Stay in reverse as you straighten out that front knee and really extend it out. Then we're gonna reach forward and come down to triangle pose. I like to hand on the back of the leg on the lower hand. That's gonna open up that shoulder. You can place a block back there. You can be on your fingertips. You can also put your hand loosely behind that shin. So don't lean on your leg with your arm, but open your chest and use your core strength. One more breath here. And a vinyasa to get out of it. Bend your front knee to put your hands down. Step back plank. Lower. Back bend. Down dog. Let's take 3 breaths before we get ready on side 2. Take a nice inhale. Maybe an audible sigh exhale. Deeper into the lungs inhale. Audible sigh exhale. One last time, inhale and exhale. Here goes the left leg now, raising it up to the sky on an inhale. Pull that knee in, step to the front of your mat, exhale. Get ready for that low crescent lunge, or high crescent lunge. Putting a bend in the knee as we coming up. Working out the shoulders over the hips, and then extending that back knee some degree. Soften your toes, have an inhale. We're gonna open it out to warrior 2, adjusting your feet, pulling that right shoulder back over that right hip, bending into that knee without gripping into the toes. Take a reverse warrior 2, inhale, maybe look up. Stay in reverse, straighten out that front knee and reach a little farther. And then let's head to triangle pose. Remember, we're extending out, not going down to that leg. Don't be in any kind of a rush. Prioritize getting the bottom waistline to extend and then finding the placement of your fingers under that shoulder, somewhere on your leg, your block, or the ground. Look up only if your neck likes to. Taking one more full breath, everybody. And then this time we're gonna put the hands down, bend that front knee, look forward, and step to the top of the mat. Halfway up on an inhale, and then fold on an exhale. Sweeping those arms to the sky, nice flat back, palms touch. And here we'll bring the hands to the center of the heart. Finding it a little bit of balance before we move into the hip stretches. So standing on your 2 feet, maybe hands on your hip bones to really feel that they're directly below your shoulders and even anchoring them with a little bit of pressure from your hands. Standing on your right leg, let's raise the left knee right out in front of us. Flex the foot so that the knee is right around aligned in your hip, and the the left foot is anchored by flexing it, as if you're standing on something to give balance to the leg's energy. Straighten out that knee right where it is if you can. Get it fully straightened. Arms out wide first to get your balance. Then maybe they're gonna go up overhead. Take a big inhale. Then an exhale. Rebend that knee. Grab your shin with your hands. Pull that knee up into your shoulder. Without rounding your back, try to pull the knee towards you. You can bend your standing knee a little tiny bit. Then letting go of the knee so that you can place that foot down. using your awareness. Take a breath. Here goes the other side. Hands on the hips, tall spine. Raise that right knee up in front of you. Flex the foot. When you feel steady, extend the leg. Fully extended, toes pointing up, leg is super active. Find symmetry in your waist by extending the arms. Then a little bit of challenge if you want to, bring them up overhead. The standing knee is a little soft so you can absorb the movement. The front leg, I'd rather it be straight than high. Then slowly bending it so you don't fall out of your balance, grabbing that knee. Do your best to try to give it a pull up into your shoulder, still looking forward, inhaling and exhaling, smooth as it can be. Letting go of the knee so you can place that foot down. Awesome, everybody. Let's shift gears. Big inhale, maybe look up. Dive down, forward fold, last standing pose here today. Halfway up on an inhale, stepping back down dog, and we're settling into a pigeon pose. So pick your favorite leg, or maybe your least favorite leg to give it some extra love. Raise it and settle into pigeon where you're bringing your knee towards your wrist and your shin across the mat. Walking your hands under the shoulders so you can lift your spine and then releasing your back toes, but really extending that back leg. Good place for a block would be underneath your butt of the bent knee, underneath your forehead as you fold forward, letting your forehead come to something to rest on. It could be making a little prayer hand and having your thumbs at your third eye, having a block at one of those levels, or if you're able to get closer to the ground, placing your forehead there. And we're just going to take 5 breaths, nice slow breaths. Really softening into the exhale. Try to feel your hips get heavy on your exhale and feel your back body get buoyant on the inhales. So if pigeon pose is a challenging pose for you, you can do that figure 4 that we did at the beginning of class, or if you're looking for a different stretch today, Janu Sirsasana. That's where one leg extends in front of you, you're seated on your butt, and you fold the opposite knee in and folds there. So that's always a great option on days where little strain on the knee or the hip isn't going to work in this downward facing pigeon. Take your last breath. And then let's just be precise in getting out of it. That could be coming to your hands and your knees, tucking your back toes, sliding your front leg back, maybe a little wiggle out of the hips, or if you know yourself and going back to down dog works, that's fine, of course. Here's our last down dog in class. So find it, feel it, out, name it. It's a good dog. And then here goes your opposite leg, whatever one you didn't do, and maybe this is the one you need to flip around and have a seat and do the pose a little differently. Putting that knee down, giving yourself time to set up so that when you're in the pose, you're not straining against your own body. Take your time settling into a forward fold of some kind, unless you prefer to stay upright. I like to find something to rest my head on so my neck can relax. And just breathe, focus on breathing and letting your body receive the stretch. If you have an agenda, an expectation when someone's giving you a gift, it's not the same. So if we have the same thing with our bodies when we're trying to stretch it in a very precise manner, getting what we think we need, it's not really a gift. It's the ego's way of grabbing what it wants. And what we want to do is let our body receive what it needs. So slow down your breath, give it time to absorb and relax. Feel your back body expand on inhales and your hips get heavier on exhales. Here's our last full breath, everybody. Nice deep fluid breaths. And when you're ready, you're just going to make your way upward and swinging that back leg around to the front leg so that you're on your bum, laying down on your back. Take your time. Maybe you want to add a little core strength as you roll down, vertebra by vertebra, just practicing that. You can give your knees a little hug. I always enjoy a happy baby last minute if I haven't had one in my practice. Of course, if there's something else you're looking to have here, go ahead and go for it. But we'll just be taking a little bit of a shavasana. So when you're ready, you're just extending your legs, extending your arms, relaxing your head, shoulders, neck, Maybe the palms are up. Maybe they're on your belly, or even feel like resting them over your head loosely. Stay here as long as you can. It's an important part of the practice. Turn it into a meditation if you have a little bit of time. And then properly exit your practice. Get yourself up in a mindful way. Thank yourself for showing up. And then have an awesome day. Thanks for practicing.